Hello, my name is Carolina de Oliveira, and you are viewing my Technology Integration Plan proposal presentation that I have created for my Technology Integration class at St. Thomas University. The recent advances in technology have prompted educational institutions to invest in hardware that will give teachers and students the access to the software that will enhance the learning experience. There are now various school districts that are implementing either a one-to-one technology or a bring-your-own-device program so teachers and students can have daily access to technology and training opportunities to assist faculty with increasing their ability to effectively integrate technology into their teaching. In addition to the necessary hardware, districts are also adopting curricula that include a variety of online components to enhance the learning experience and provide more options for teachers and students. The new options that are now available for teachers to both present lessons and also to assess students through technology will better prepare students for the competitive 21st century job market. The lesson descriptors of my particular lesson are: the grade level is focused on 6th grade. However, it can be adapted for higher grade levels because of the technology. The content and topic areas is mathematics, and the specific standard is 6.EE.B.7, which deals with solving equations. The technologies that will be used are MacBook Air, interactive projector, and internet access. The ISTE standard that is the focus of this lesson is 1.C, which is to use technology to seek feedback that informs and improves practice and demonstrate learning in a variety of ways. The 21st century learning standard comes from the critical thinking and problem solving standard, where students need to reason effectively and use various types of reasoning as appropriate to a situation. The required previous knowledge is a mathematics standard from the 4th grade, 4.0A.A.3, which again has to deal with multi-step word problems and then representing them in equations with variables in them. And the intended audience is 6th grade math teachers and 6th grade students. So step 1 of phase 1, the relative advantage of using technology for this particular lesson. One relative advantage of the technology is that the Math Algebra Balance Equations website is a problem-solving instructional software that helps students visualize abstract concepts, which you will see later on in this presentation. Another relative advantage of the technology is that the personal math trainer is a drill and practice instructional software that allows students to practice the skill after they receive instruction. Step 2 of phase 1, which is to assess the required resources and skills. So in order to ensure that no time is wasted during the technology portion of this lesson, the instructor really should visit the Math Algebra Balance Equations website and become familiar with how to input an equation and how to add X tiles and unit tiles to the balance, and also how to remove the tiles from the balance. Also, since every teacher and student has access to a MacBook Air, and each classroom has a wireless router and internet access as well as an interactive projector, the necessary resources and skills to implement this lesson effectively are already in place. Step 3 of phase 2, deciding on objectives and assessments. The lesson objectives for this particular lesson are to use models to solve addition equations and also to use algebra to solve addition and subtraction equations. Student accomplishments and performance will be assessed through the results of the personal math trainer assignment that will be given at the conclusion of the lesson. Step 4 of Phase 2, designing the integration strategies. Since my district has a mandated Technology 1-to-1 or a TOTO initiative, where each student and teacher has access to a MacBook Air, the integration is already in place for a large portion of the technology that is needed. Step 5 of Phase 2, prepare instructional environment. Since technology is already in place, the learning environment does not need any additional preparation. However, if the technology is not functioning on the day of the lesson, the teacher can then model a balance on the board, draw tiles, and then the students can complete practice problems in their textbooks. The students also already have access to the Go Math Personal Trainer through their Think Central login, which is the website associated with the Go Math program, where their username is their student ID number and their password is Go Math, one word, all lowercase. Step 6 of Phase 3, analyze lesson results and the impact. The student's understanding of the lesson will be evaluated through their results on the Personal Math Trainer classwork assignment. The teacher will also determine the lesson's success by reviewing the student's homework the following day. And finally, the students will be given a pop quiz on the following day as a due now assignment. In the case that the class average on each assignment is below 60%, the teacher should provide more practice problems for the students and possibly allow the students to work with a partner on further practice problems. And finally, Step 7 of Phase 3, make revisions based on results. Revision needs will be determined by the student's results on the Personal Math Trainer assignment, the amount of issues and questions from the homework assignment, and also the results of the pop quiz. So my lesson deals with modeling and solving addition and subtraction equations. The progression of the algebra-related standards in the Common Core State Standards, or CCSS, spans the entirety of a student's kindergarten through 12th grade education. As shown in Figure 1, the domain of algebra, in the blue section, begins in kindergarten through 5th grade and is labeled as operations and algebraic thinking. It then evolves into expressions and equations in middle school, grades 6 through 8, and then finally into functions and algebra in the upper grades. Therefore, while algebra is a topic that is constantly discussed, students are not typically aware of it until they are in 6th grade and the vocabulary begins to reflect its abstract nature. The process that is necessary for a student to successfully solve any type of equation is taught in the 6th grade Go Math curriculum in Lesson 8.3 through modeling and Lesson 8.4 through using a particular procedure. Though this specific lesson is targeted at 6th grade students, the technology can be used at any grade level to model various types of equations such as one-step, two-step, and variables on both sides equations. The instructor will be using a MacBook Air, internet access, and an interactive projector to model the equations and the steps that need to be completed to solve each equation. And the students will need a MacBook Air and internet access to complete the drill and skill aspect of the lesson through the Personal Math Trainer. At the beginning of the lesson, the instructor will write the equation x plus 3 equals 7 on the board and ask students to think about various ways that they can find the value of x. A majority of the students can reason that x is equal to 4 because they know that 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. The instructor will then access the Who to Math Algebra Balance Equations website and input the same algebraic equation and display it on the interactive projector. The X tile and unit tiles will be placed accordingly, and the scale will become balanced, as you can see in the figure. The instructor will also have the equation written on the board adjacent to the projector screen, if possible. The students will be asked how to determine how they can manipulate the tiles so that the X tile is isolated on one side of the balance. Students may suggest removing 3 unit tiles that are on the same side as the X tile. The teacher will remove 3 tiles from the balance and also subtract 3 from the equation on the adjacent board to algebraically demonstrate what was modeled. There may also be students who suggest to take the 3 unit tiles and place them on the opposite side of the balance. In either case, the scale will not be balanced anymore. The teacher will prompt the students with the question, how do you think we can make the scale balanced again while keeping the X by itself? Eventually, someone may suggest removing 3 tiles from the 7, which will finally balance the scale. The teacher will once again subtract 3 from the equation on the board to algebraically demonstrate what was modeled. From both the model and the algebraic expression, the students can see that the solution to the equation x plus 3 equals 7 is x equals 4. By using visual models and relating them to the algebraic steps, the teacher can then discuss with the class the importance of keeping an equation balanced by performing the same operations on both sides of the equation, and also how inverse operations were used to isolate the variable. The teacher may opt to model a few more addition equations to reinforce the concept. Once the students have grasped the concept with modeling and its relationship to algebra, the teacher can post various addition and subtraction equations on the board for students to attempt. If there's any confusion with the subtraction equations, which need addition to be solved, the teacher can describe subtraction as a hole that needs to be filled up, thus needing addition or adding in to fill the hole to be solved. Once the solutions to the equations on the board are discussed, the teacher will assign Lesson 8.3 and Lesson 8.4 Personal Math Trainer as a classwork assignment to further practice solving equations using addition and subtraction. This lesson is the introduction of the proper algebraic method to solve equations. Though many students do not want to show the steps, it is of utmost importance that they become accustomed to the process because the equations will only become more complex as the students advance in their mathematical education. The use of technology to model an equation and isolate the variable facilitates the understanding of the abstract concepts of algebra. The use of technology for additional practice from the personal math trainer offers instant feedback to the student and also facilitates in the teacher evaluation of the lesson's success. The following are my references from my presentation, and I would like to thank you for viewing my Technology Integration Plan proposal presentation. Please feel free to visit my website. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.